Hello everybody, and welcome back to Animal Crossing New Leaf. Welcome, Amiibo! Today I almost forgot to take the lens cap off. I'm very good at this. In my defense, I have a bit of a headache still. Like, I'm still not better, and every time I sneeze, I get a headache, and I literally sneezed during Isabel's opening bit. So I have a little bit of a headache, which is always fun. Hello, Sky. Schmoopy, I'm glad I caught up with you, Airmail. Maybe you could invite me over to your house or something? I've always wanted to just relax and talk to you at your place. Okay, we can go. No, there isn't. I mean, we could literally do it right now, but you're the one that wants after 4. I'm also making sure that, yes, my microphone is indeed still working. We had a thunderstorm here yesterday that ended up knocking the power out. I didn't even know the power had got knocked out at all, because, like, I was just sitting out in our sun porch just watching the thunderstorm, so... I love thunderstorms. They're just kind of nice. I know they're, like, frightening for a lot of people, but, like, let's be real. If you're indoors, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. So. Yeah, I've also spent a fair bit of time since waking up, like, half an hour or so ago. Maybe it was more than that, actually. More or less just reminiscing to myself about my time playing EVE Online. I kind of miss that game at times. Which always has me thinking, like, well, I've got the money. I could actually go back and I could actively pay for my own subscription now, and I wouldn't have to worry about grinding ISK or anything, and I could just do whatever I want to do and have fun, except I still really can't, because, like, I don't have the patience anymore for a lot of that stuff. I somehow messed up the money rock. I think Frisk is getting into things, because of course she is. The moment I pull my microphone out, the moment I start talking is the moment she's like, oop, gotta get into things. I think she's just messing with a bag, though. I'll have to keep an ear out in case she is actually getting into things she shouldn't be. But yeah, I actually got thinking of it last night, actually, because of a video from Adam Savage's Tested, where basically he was talking about micromanagers. You know, what kind of manager does he prefer, the laissez-faire or micromanager? And he like, or more, which one does he like less, kind of thing. It was micromanagers suck, and like, yeah, micromanagers suck. Like. And I don't mean this in a harsh way, but if any of y'all watching are, like, micromanagers, you have to be in control of everything, do the project yourself then. Micromanaging just makes everything more stressful for everybody under you. And it got me thinking of something that happened in EVE Online that basically was my case of, yeah, I really don't like micromanagers. So, for some context for those who don't know anything about EVE Online, it's a space MMO that has been joked to, only be named EVE Online because Second Life was already taken. It's a very time-intensive MMO. Oh, lost item. And with that time intensiveness also comes with permanent loss of stuff. If your ship explodes, you have to buy a new one. It's gone. Like, everything equipped to it is also probably gone. Anything that didn't get destroyed in the explosion was probably picked up by whoever blew you up. You know. Pudge. Oh, there's someone right here. Hi, Velma. I was just trying to dig this bamboo, probably. You lose this? Be really convenient if you lost this. Can't say I've seen this before. Must belong to someone, though. Hey, maybe it's Pudge's. I wonder if I can give him a lost item on his first day here. Yeah, bamboo. Yeah, so keep that in mind. And then, like, the best way I can describe fleet doctrine, like fleet fits, because you can equip equipment to your ships. Hello, Carlos. You want some bamboo? Been thinking my catchphrase has gotten really old. I say keep it. It hasn't gotten old at all. Yeah, it's fine as it is. If you like it, I'll keep using it, Peppa Pig. Like your honesty. If you say my catchphrase is good, then it must still be fine, Peppa Pig. Of course it's fine. I will not let you break a little girl's heart, Carlos. Have a mitten. Nope, not his. But, the best way I can describe, like, fleet doctrines, fleet fits, is think of it like real-life militaries, how each one has their own equipment to give to the same base unit of person or tank. You know, it's the same basic stuff, but, you know, it's the same base unit with different equipment. That's the best way I can describe the fits and doctrines within EVE, because you're all using the same base ship hulls. It's just everyone tends to have quite a different way of equipping it. It's mine. How? Didn't even notice I'd lost it. Thanks so much, Pookie. Take my baseball shirt. Okay. I'm just gonna sell it, but better tie it to my clothes or something so I don't lose it again, Queen. Might be a good idea. But yeah, some fleet commanders / managers, to put it in a more simple term, get really anal about the fits everybody has equipped. You know, all of the equipment you have on your ship, they get really anal about it. And will demand to know, like, do you have this piece? Do you have this piece? You know, we can't take you with us if you don't have this one. It's like, yes, you can. There's always an alternative. There's always something that works. Like, but that's not how a lot of these fleet commanders see it. It's, you follow the doctrine or nothing. And sure, sometimes you kind of need to. If it's something really important, you kind of need to. I see you're surviving, princess. You want to talk to me? Want to chat? She bought something from Sky a really long time ago. Been so long I'm embarrassed to return it now. Yeah, I can return it. It's no trouble at all, Lobo. No trouble at all. But, even with the really important stuff, like, me personally, I'd rather have more bodies than fewer bodies in the exact correct fit. Because more bodies equals higher chance of winning. Even if more of them are lost, you still have a higher chance of winning. The Russians taught us that one. If you can just simply throw the most bodies at the problem, you'll probably win in the end. The funny thing is, even in EVE Online, the Russians held a similar mentality of just throw the most bodies at the wall. I get to try and find Sky. I feel like she went down to the beach. So she'll probably be over here. No. Oh, there she is. So, I'll get through a sky once. Just the type of flower that you prefer is a reflection of your personality. You'd like to try it out? Sure. The following flowers, which is my favorite? I kind of like dandelions. Dandelions represent strength through adversity. Hope that doesn't mean something is troubling you. Don't hesitate to talk to me if you have something on your mind. I always talk to people when I have something on my mind. Hey, Schmoopy, what can I do? Got delivery! Could this be something from Lobo? Oh, that's right. I let Lobo borrow this. Thanks for returning it. Just as I'd expect from such a facetious fellow, back in a timely manner. Thanks for delivering this to me. Be sure to give my regards to Lobo as well. I'd also like to give you this. Timing is just a coincidence. It's a firefighter shirt. Really hope you like it. I kinda don't. Those things are heavy, man. They get really warm. But yeah, to explain this, to get into the actual story after I've laid kind of the groundwork. So, I lived in a region in EVE Online called Providence. It was what was called not red, don't shoot space. Of, if you weren't our enemy, we didn't shoot you. That led to a lot of problems for us, but also a lot of fun. And just made Providence a nice place to be. I handed it over. And thanks for making the delivery to Sky. Does Sky say anything? As a matter of fact, she did. She said I got back to her really quick. What's she talking about? Took my sweet time. On purpose. She'll be like, if she ever gets something back from me after this. Just kidding. But, within Providence, there was a lot of fleet commanders. This one fleet commander basically got us all to form up 2 hours before the operation that we were going to do. Like, to start forming up. A lot of people didn't, because they have lives. They had shit to do. They couldn't spend 2 hours sitting around doing nothing before, you know, an operation that, by all accounts, was probably going to take us a good, you know, hour, 2 hours anyway. Like, it was going to be a long night for anyone who showed up, so a lot of people showed up closer to a reasonable forming time. This fleet commander then went full drill sergeant on us. Everyone had to make absolute sure they had the exact correct fit, and if they didn't, he kicked them from the fleet. He then, literally as we were about to leave for the operation, didn't trust anyone that was still there, so he had us all on dock about 15 minutes before the operation was to start. And then he flew past our ships with a module called a ship scanner. Lets you look at what's equipped to other ships. And he literally scanned every single one of us. And anyone who still didn't have the exact correct fit was kicked from the fleet. This took him an hour. So now we were about 45 minutes late for the operation. And our target was no longer a viable target. The fleet literally fizzled. It didn't get anything done. Because he spent that long trying to micromanage the entire fleet. Like, that legitimately ruined some people's evenings, because that was going to be their entertainment for the night, and now they're sitting around going, well, now what am I gonna do? Like, what I was gonna do just fizzled. We don't have an operation anymore. Like, what do I do now? And the answer was another fleet commander that was taking part in the fleet basically just said, hey, everyone just stay in your ships. Let's just go do something else. We'll find something. Don't worry about it. And then we just went. He gathered up a few of the people that had gotten kicked from the fleet, and we had a fun little time. But the micromanager was kicked from the fleet and not allowed to take part because he had ruined the other fleet. Like, we basically went and camped around one of the entrances into Providence to basically be gate guardians, like... And that was kind of fun. We then, after a while, took our fleet into Test Alliance space, got blown up, had a fun time, some of us survived. And that was the night. Like, meanwhile, anytime I would command a fleet, because I would do it from time to time, my doctrine was kitchen sink. Bring whatever you're comfortable losing, because you're probably gonna, but let's just go. Let's just go shoot some dudes. Let's have some fun. And that quite often was all that was required for defending Providence, was just kitchen sink. Bring whatever you can afford to lose. Let's go shoot them, guys. You know, there were times where I would rally people up in ships that they had no business flying into battle, but could convince them to swap over their fits to something reasonable for what we were doing, and told them I'd reimburse their ship when they lost it. Like, that was, you know... Like, there was at one point I organized a fleet of mining vessels and industrial ships. The industrial ships think like space 18-wheelers. They're not combat vehicles. They're trucks. You know, they're very frail, most of them. And they can't really fight back, but they can be there. Pudge. I'm assuming a he, but when I look, I think it might actually... No, it's a he. Okay. Oh, you caught me. Thought I would just show up out of nowhere and surprise everyone. Anyway, I'm Pudge. Just moved here today. I don't think anyone knows I'm here yet, so keep it between us for now, okay? I like his room. Just his outfit made him look female, but I guess he's male. But, like, there was a time I literally organized mining ships and industrials together with a few actual combat ships, and we went and saw off a threat to our space. Like, because, like, even though those were just industrial ships, they weren't anything particularly scary, they could still fit what's called a warp scrambler, which can prevent the enemies from running away. And some of them can be quite tanky, making it quite difficult to take that warp scrambler offline long enough to get away. You know, like, industrial ships can still hold their own in PvP situations when they need to. Not as good as proper combat ships, no, that's not what they're designed to do. But, like, that's the ingenuity of EVE Online players, is, hey, how can we use this ship in ways that it was never supposed to be used for, but still serves what we need it to do? And I was really good at doing that with ships. I got dubbed a fitting wizard because I could basically make a ship do anything. It wouldn't do it as well as a ship meant for doing that job, but it could do it. Like, literally before the standard mining barge fit was standardized for the alliance I was in, and really Providence in general, it's a fit I'd been using forever, because I realized, hey, if you put a lot of tanking modules on this mining barge, because I used to mine a lot in high-sec, the high-sec gankers, which basically are just people willing to throw their ships away to kill yours, usually just to grief you. Like, they're not actually after profit, they just want to make you mad. They wouldn't attack me, because they couldn't do it cost-effectively. Aye, be that me lad, Stephen. Did ye come here often? Hehehe. Do this be your usual bean haunt? Yes, it is. I would like a coffee, Brewster. I'd like my usual, much like I have right here. But, like, this mining barge, and I think things have changed since, because CCP loves messing with things that are fun. At least these days. Like, It was basically as tanky as a battleship and did not cost it anywhere near as much. Like, if you needed something to serve as bait, you used one of these mining barges. Like, they weren't very expensive, they could fit a hell of a tank, and, you know, they could survive for at least a couple minutes, and that's sometimes all you needed. I also took pretty great pride in the one time I did fly a more doctrine fleet. It was within my own alliance's doctrine, because each alliance would have their own doctrine, and then a coalition would have its own doctrine, the coalition being a group of alliances. The best way to explain this in a way that might make sense to people, think of an alliance like a country. Think of a coalition like NATO. So each country has its own military goals, its own equipment, its own stuff it wants, but also NATO says, hey, you need this stuff too. You know, you need to be capable of doing this, and this, and this. But the one time I did take a fleet out it was literally my own creation, because I was the one who made a lot of my alliance's doctrine fleets. Which they probably still use, even though they kicked me out and, you know, tried to abandon my corporation in the middle of Providence with no contacts. Little did they know I had plenty of contacts. But, no one died except me. And I was flying logistics. Basically, I was playing the healer role. Everyone else got through that gate. I didn't, because I made sure everyone else got through. But, Carlos, we are not changing your catchphrase. It's fine the way it is. Stop it. Stop it, Carlos. We are not changing it. I get your greeting and catchphrase are the same, and I think that's why he wants to change his catchphrase. It's because his greeting and catchphrase are the same. But I don't care. It's staying as Peppa Pig, Carlos. But, like, I stayed behind to make absolutely sure everybody would get through that gate. And even though, like, the type of logistics ship I was flying was one that needed what's called a cap buddy. Capacitor being basically your battery reserves for your ship. Once you run out, you can't do anything that requires the battery, basically. My cap buddy got out. I made sure he got out. With the last of my ship's battery, he got out. But because CCP hates fun, I couldn't get out because the fact I had been healing somebody put a 30-second cooldown on my ability to use Stargates. That didn't used to be a thing. Logistics could run away whenever they needed to. It was only taking an aggressive act that would get you the 30-second warp gate timer. And then CCP was like, well, hang on, no, logistics ships are getting people through gates and then they're retreating themselves, and we can't have that. It's like, what? And we were only even running away from this fight because we didn't have the damage output to kill the enemies, and they didn't have the damage output to kill us, but there was a higher chance of them getting reinforcements before we did. So, we were fleeing. But, like, my general rule anytime I was in charge of a fleet was logistics go last. Because unless there's enemies waiting on the other side of that gate, in which case the logistics have to come with us, if we are fleeing from something, logistics go last. You make sure everyone else gets through that gate before you go through that gate. But then again, I was also pretty dedicated logistics player. I loved my space magic. Which is kind of what really disappoints me playing Star Trek Online. Is that healing in space really doesn't matter. Healing in general in that game really doesn't matter. Everyone can heal themselves perfectly adequately to do everything. Which is why I really wish that, like, Cryptic would go through and rebalance that game. Like... But at the same time, it kind of feels like even from the very start, they didn't really have any set goal in mind as to who heals what. I say that because on the ground, as makes some level of sense, science officers have the most HP healing, engineering officers have the most shield healing. They recover your technology as engineers, and the science officers, as basically the doctors, recover your actual hit points. In space, engineering recovers armor and hull, aka your proper HP, and science recovers your shields, but engineering also recovers your shields. Engineering actually recovers your shields better. I have never seen that. TV's kind of going wild. Just Apple. You know, not gonna lie, if a commercial was actually like that, people would probably, like, that would probably become a meme. If the entire commercial was just a short loop of music and just apples rolling by, that would probably become a meme. Let's be real. It would become fairly viral. Probably wouldn't be terribly productive as a commercial because it wouldn't actually sell many products, but it would definitely become something well known. So you'd have that going for it. But, like, yeah. I miss EVE Online at times. It was a really fun game. Then, like, everything I built just kind of fell apart around me. Because, like, I was put in charge of the corporation I was in, which, think of that like a state or a province or a city within a country. I was put in charge of this corporation more or less because the only other active member of the corporation stepped back when talk of who should be in charge came up. So, you know, I didn't exactly step forward, he took a step back. And then from that moment, I was like, no, I want to build this corp into the best corporation I can, and I'm going to do it my way. Because, sure, the way I was doing it wasn't the way anyone else did it, for good reason. But it worked. Mostly because in 2013-ish, when I was put in charge, EVE was still getting a good number of new players. And basically how I built up the corporation was putting out a a recruitment advert for the corp, and accepting literally everybody that applied. Didn't matter who you were, wasn't doing any background checks, didn't ask anything of you, just accepted. This became a bit of a problem when one of my early recruits, who became one of my directors, you know, assistant manager basically, when he was trying to get us involved in some alliances because it would make us stronger, when those alliances would go, okay, so do you guys have like APIs for all of your members? It's like, no. No, I don't. Which generally fell to, wait, but why? It's like, because we don't need them. If someone's gonna be spying on my tiny little corporation that has almost nothing, they're wasting their time. Like, that was my general mindset of, if you're gonna spy on us, you are wasting your time. Because we don't have anything worth stealing. We don't do anything worth spying on. And anything we did have that was worth stealing was under my exclusive lock and key. Only I could access it. But there was still a bunch of stuff that anyone could take, and I did have times where someone would join the corporation, take what they could from the free stuff, which would usually be, this is gonna sound like a lot, but trust me, it's not, about 30 to 40 million ISK worth of just generic rat loot, NPC loot, and then they would leave. And then within the next day or two, it would be back, because I would just replace it with my own mission drops from doing level 4 missions all the time. It was nothing I cared about. That's why it was there. I did have the request that, like, if you are going to use something when you're done with it, could you put it back? I don't care if you do, but it'd be nice if you would. Like, that's how I ran things. And I built that corporation up to almost 100 members that way. That's when we started getting approached by alliances to be like, hey, my man, you got a lot of people there. You want to join us? And it would usually be very, like, sweet deals. The deal I regret not taking, and it's mostly because it would have probably taken a lot of extra effort and to convince this group to actually let us keep our own corporation. There was an alliance who wanted us to join them, but didn't have room without kicking basically one of their other corporations to have us join, because you can only have so many corporations in an alliance. They were Surveillance. They approached us wanting us to join, but we would have to have left our corporation and joined another, and I was not down for that. I had just spent years building this corporation up. I was not just going to throw that all away. But I probably could have, with enough sitting around and negotiating, found some way for us to keep our corporation name and still, joined. I honestly believe, had we done that, I'd still be playing EVE Online, and most of my corp would still be around and happy, and nothing bad would have happened to us, because Severance was not out trying to stab us in the back, not like Warped Intentions was. And I'm fine saying that alliance name, because they're gone now. They got stabbed in the back in a much worse way than I got stabbed in the back. And the funniest part of all that is, as much as I stopped playing the game, there was definitely some times where some of their allies in test could have helped them, and didn't, because they had a request called in, a favor called in by their good buddy Seth to not. I feel a little bad because there were some people who were just good people in Warped, but that's what happens when I have contacts around New Eden. Like, I had multiple accounts and would actually talk with people outside of my little bubble. Never once disclosed that to anyone within even my own corporation. The only thing I would say is I have friends. And there were times where I would make mention of, oh, hey, a test fleet's forming up. How do you know? One of them has me blued. That's how I know. And that never seemed to raise suspicion. I actually joined that fleet a couple times. Just joining the fleet, but not actually joining them. But yeah. I'm going to end things off here because I'm just rambling and reminiscing. So, thank you all very much for watching. And hopefully I shall see you back here tomorrow for more Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo. See you all then.